Inexperience portrays the relationship between the ego and the self as one of student to master. Communication via the oracle demands seriousness of purpose. The self refuses to pander to the ego's illusions. The superior man furthers the work by developing his will and intent. Wilhelm's title for this hexagram is Youthful Folly, which tends to lend it a negative connotation that is not always strictly applicable. However, he is quick to point out that the title should be understood to mean the immaturity of youth and its consequent lack of wisdom, rather than mere stupidity. While the title of inexperience avoids the negative connotation, it must be acknowledged that there is an aura of irritation in this hexagram, which illustrates an uncomfortable truth about the relationship between the ego and the self. The self is an awesome archetype, and once one has established contact with him, he assumes a distinctly stern personality. The self will not pander to the ego's illusions and has no patience with anything but the unvarnished truth. Tact and patience are not among his attributes. Lao Tzu describes him very accurately. The sage is unkind. He treats the people like sacrificial straw dogs, which is just the way it is. As a satellite of the self, the ego complex was not created just so that it could spend a lifetime indulging its fantasies. The work must be undertaken, and the self knows more than you do what remains to be done. Like any excellent teacher, he demands more of us than we think we have in us to give. This phenomenon of the tyrannical and often unjust self has been noted in many times and places. Here is an example from Neoplatonism. A quote from Imblicus in the Egyptian Mysteries. What shall we say in regard to the question, why do the divinities that are invoked require the worshipper to be just, although they themselves, when entreated, consent to perform unjust acts? In reply to this, I am uncertain in respect to what is meant by performing unjust acts, as the same definition may not appear right both to us and to the gods. We, on the one hand, looking to that which is least significant, consider the things that are present, the momentary life, what it is and how it originates. The beings superior to us, let me say, know for certain the whole life of the soul and all its former lives. And if they bring on a retribution from the supplication of those who invoke them, they do not increase it beyond what is just. On the contrary, they aim at the sins impressed upon the soul in former lifetimes, which men do not perceive, and so imagine that it is unjust that they fall into the misfortunes which they suffer.